Moonshot AI just revealed what could be the world's most powerful OpenAI model. Kimi K3 has taken the #1 spot in front-end coding, and new independent testing puts it less than a half a percentage point behind Claude Fable 5. But there are 3 catches. It's slower than some competing open models, it uses a surprising number of tokens, and despite being called open, you still can't download the weights. So is Kimi K3 really the new king? Well, let's start with the results that change the story. Vals AI independently tested Kimi K3 across coding, finance, and professional tasks. It scored 74.7%, placing second out of 38 models. Claude Fable 5 finished first with 75.14%, and GPT-5.6 Sol scored 73.12%. So Kimi didn't beat Claude overall, but it came within half a percentage point and finished ahead of GPT 5.6 Sol. That's close enough to take it seriously. Its coding results were even stronger. K3 scored 95.1% on Val's SWE bench verified subset. It also reached 91.27% on Vibe Code Bench. So this isn't just Moonshot grading its own AI anymore. Independent testing confirms that Kimi K3 belongs near the front of the pack. But does that make it #1? Not exactly. K3 reached 1,679 ELO on Arena's front-end code leaderboard. That put it ahead of Claude Fable 5 and GPT 5.6 Sol. But the Arena measures the front-end generation only. It doesn't measure every kind of coding, reasoning, or agentic work. Artificial analysis tells a slightly different story. It gave Kimi K3 an intelligence index score of 57. That currently places it 4th on the model page. So K3 is #1 in one coding arena, 2nd on vowels, and 4th on artificial analysis. Those results aren't necessarily contradicting each other. They're testing different things with different tools and settings. The honest conclusion is K3 is frontier level. Calling it the best model overall is where the evidence starts to get shaky. Now let's talk about that ridiculous size. Kimi K3 has 2.8 trillion total parameters. That sounds impossible to run because you're not actually running all of them at once. K3 uses something called a mixture of experts architecture. It has 896 specialist experts, but only 16 active for each token. That means roughly 15 billion parameters are working at any one time. Think of it like a company with 896 specialist teams. Every task goes to the 16 teams best suited to handle it. The whole company doesn't need to join every meeting. K3 also supports a context window of just over 1 million tokens. That's enough capacity for enormous code bases, long documents, and extended agent workflows. Moonshot also developed Kimi Delta Attention. The company says it can decode up to 6.3 times faster under specific million token conditions. That sounds impressive, but it needs some context. It doesn't mean that Kimi K3 API is 6 times faster than competing models. Artificial analysis measured K3 at around 62 output tokens per second. The comparison group average was roughly 71. GLM 5.2 produced around 167 tokens per second in the same comparison. That gives GLM 5.2 roughly 2.7 times K3's measured output throughput. K3 also took 1.99 seconds to produce its first token, whereas GLM 5.2 took 1.4 seconds. So Kimi Delta Attention may make this enormous model faster than it otherwise would be, but the current API is not a speed leader, and slower output is only half the problem. During the artificial analysis evaluation, K3 generated 130 million output tokens. The comparison group median was around 63 million. So K3 produced more than twice the median number of tokens. That combination matters. The model can produce tokens more slowly while also producing more of them to complete a task. For a quick question, you may not care, but for a coding agent, running for an hour, you probably will. More tokens can mean longer completion times and a larger bill. K3 currently costs $3 per million uncached input tokens and $15 per million output tokens. That price doesn't look outrageous on its own, but a model can still become expensive if it needs twice as many tokens to finish the job. Then there's the open model claim. Right now, Kimi K3 is available through an API. The full model weights are promised for July 27, but until those model weights arrive, you can't download the complete model. Although the new benchmarks validate the model's performance through the API, they don't make the weights available. And even when those weights arrive, this is still a 2.8 trillion parameter model. Running it will require serious infrastructure, and this is not something most people will be loading into a gaming PC. So, is Kimi K3 the new king? It's certainly the largest open weight model Moonshot has announced. Independent testing now confirms that it can compete with the leading closed models, and its coding results are genuinely impressive. But it isn't number one everywhere, its current API is relatively slow, and it appears to be unusually verbose. The open weights still haven't arrived, but Kimi K3 now opens up the competition. It's no longer just hyped, and it has earned a place among the frontier models. But whether it deserves the crown depends entirely on what you're measuring. The weights are due on July 27, and make sure to subscribe if you want to follow up once people can download them and test the real thing. I'll see you in the next one.